Welcome back to System Prompt. It's episode number 17, and we
We got a
have a good
guest.
one
Don't
for you.
embarrass me. Jesus Christ.
It's
Come on.
episode number 17, Peter.
Oh my
17.
God, he's gonna do it. All right, here we
17. We
go.
did it.
We
Three
did do it.
more, and we're the top 1%. Three
We are in
more.
the top 1%.
We
It's
have a
impressive.
great one for you today, and I am happy to jump into this conversation. But my name is Val,
And I'm Peter.
and welcome back to System Prompt. We have a special guest with us today, uh, serial entrepreneur, 30 years in the hospitality space, and building really cool products and software, really leveraging AI to provide maximum value. We have David Leibner here with us today.
What's going on,
David,
everybody?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
let's go. David, please tell us a little bit about yourself. I did a soft intro, but jump in a little bit more. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I definitely been in the hospitality space for a long time. You know, from growing up in New York to choosing to move to Boulder, Colorado instead of going to college, and doing everything out there from short order cook to bartending to managing to moving to New Orleans, and just my whole history through the industry from every stage in the business to being a partner and owning and managing, to realizing that I couldn't live the next 80 years of my life running a brick and mortar business, and finding a way to transition into software, where I've been building software in the hospitality space for about 17 years now. Love the hospitality space, and luckily software was a way for me to find a way to stay in it without being directly in it or in the brick and mortar version of it.
So you've been building for the last 17 years. How has AI impacted the velocity or the things in which you're able to build, especially for that space?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question. Uh, I think I feel fortunate that I have been in the space building in a traditional manner, an idea, proof of concept, PRD, a functional spec, bringing a product to market, making mistakes early on as an early on entrepreneur of building too far past an MVP and too many features, and thinking features were more important than product market fit and consumer feedback and all the stuff you learn 20 years ago versus how easy AI makes it to build ideas now. And so I find you have a lot of young entrepreneurs building solutions that don't need to be built, that they're small problems that they're like, oh, I can build a solution to this problem that didn't warrant being built maybe 17 years ago or even 10 years ago or five. So I think I'm fortunate to be my age and to have my more analog kind of experience before AI. But now that I'm in AI, or getting to leverage AI, I have engineers I've been working with for over 10 years and seeing their production, like, how much code they can write on a daily basis or how much code they can QA, watching their production levels go up 3x, 5x, 7x, how much more they can produce. So that's really exciting. We were actually looking at hiring a product manager from another platform, like a guy who has built something like what we're building in a completely different vertical. And, the company he's working for now is a multi-billion-dollar company, a winner of their space. And he said the top 30% of their engineers haven't written a line of code in over a year. These are engineers probably making over $1 million a year each, if not maybe 700 or 800,000 a year more each. Not one of them's written a line of code. That they all have teams of agents that they have built that are writing the code for them, QAing the code for them, and then they are the second or third set of eyes on that code before being submitted into whatever environment is being tested. So the project I'm working on right now, we tried to build 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and every time we tried to stress test it, we said how we were doing it wasn't good enough to do it, and we put it back on the shelf. So AI is the first time that we have felt we have what we need to actually bring this platform to market.
So when you say, 3xing your productivity, how do you see that actually being executed? Do you see it being executed as more features being put out quicker to capture that product market fit? Do you see it as being able to clean up code faster and debug faster, or is it a combination? How are you actually seeing that productivity benefit your team?
Man, it's a great question. I think there's a really easy answer to give, which I'm probably not smart enough to give, which is um, which is just give you a simple answer, and I will overcomplicate it by saying I think there's an answer to that question at every stage of a business. Pre-launch, working on the MVP stage has three sets of answers for that question. A company that has gone to market and is looking to scale and is getting their first amounts of consumer feedback or user feedback, whether it's B2B or B2C or whatever it is. And then there's a company that has won their space and is looking to go from growth metrics and KPIs to profitability or whatever, that each stage of those companies would have an answer to that question. So I'll answer it at the stage I'm at. Um, I think a company at my stage, which is pre-launch, we're going production live in the next 30 days. We have like 1,000 users now on a beta, and we keep dripping more people on daily for feedback and some business intelligence and consumer search intelligence. That every time we think about adding a new feature based on that feedback, we realize we're making a mistake, and that hopefully we have been around this block and done this long enough that we're catching that. I think a lot of early on entrepreneurs are going to make the mistake of keep building more and more features because it's so easy to build them now. So we are working really hard at being focused on the MVP of just really two core North Stars of what we are, and to really dial those in and to put all those other really great features on the shelf for sprints that are, in the next 2 quarters. But not to get distracted from the ability to build features now that make so much sense to build, because it's just a mistake at this stage of the company. So I think AI is that I think of all the stories, the same story, the genie in a magic bottle of growing up in the 70s and 80s, that always had the same thing. You get three wishes, and then someone always makes the lazy wish that comes back to bite them in the ass. I want to be rich, and then it makes you rich, but it gives you all these other problems. Or I want this girl to love me. It gives you that, but then gives you all these other problems. AI is the same thing. If you are lazy about what it can do, you can start getting all these things you want at just giving you more problems than you're ready for. So we're really trying to stay focused on the QA side of it, on dialing in what is our North Star, what is our focus, and not letting those distractions creep in because the AI allows you to tackle them before they should be tackled. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking of the movie Bedazzled when you said that. It's like
Yeah, there you
with
go. I
Brendan
mean,
Fraser. Yeah.
yeah, it is very much that. It's that same story in 100 different versions of it, right? Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in. David, tell us about this product, Stupid Good AI.
Yeah, so Stupid Good AI is a is basically a platform designed to help you find the best places to eat and drink. And internally, we look at it as a unified discovery experience. So early on, we looked at other platforms in other markets of, how do you find the music you want to listen to? How do you find the TV show you want to listen to? How do you find the the hotel you want to stay at, or the food you want delivered to you. And so we put up on a board Spotify next to Netflix, next to Expedia, next to DoorDash. And we realized that all these multi-billion-dollar companies had built the same exact company, so best of lists, organized in lists, right? Like in Spotify, it's jazz, rock and roll, blues, hip hop, country, jam band. In Netflix, it's horror, comedy, action, drama, romance. But that all of these platforms have the same template of this vertical scroll for different categories, and then this horizontal scroll for the information inside it. So it makes it very easy to find what you're looking for the first time you look for it. And then the more you use it, the more it learns about you. What do you like about this music? Does he like female local leads? Does he like double guitars? Does he like heavy syncopation? It learns what you like about music to find new music you never would have found for yourself. Because you like this, this, and this, you should check out this song or this band. Because you like this movie, you should watch this movie. Because you ordered this breakfast burrito, you should look at this restaurant. That the same version existed for every single industry except for where to eat and drink. And that all these foodies like us were going to Yelp and Infatuation and Eater and New York Times and Michelin Guide and James Beard. And we were all looking at 20, 30, 40 different sites, including TikTok and Instagram. And then keeping Excel sheets or making Google Map lists or doing all these things to try to figure out where to eat and drink, only to find out that half of them were wrong. The other half we didn't even know about. And that, I just saw all the dots and I was like, how can this solution work for every other business except for where to eat and drink? And we've been thinking about it for a long time. 7 years ago, we were going to call this Foodie Bot, and it was just a simple chat bot, a decision tree. You came into it and it gave you two bubbles. Are you hungry or are you thirsty? You clicked I'm hungry. Then it said, great. Are you looking for, casual food or diners or fine dining or elevated? And then you'd pick like the level of dining you want. I'm looking for, bib gourmand, elevated dining. And then it's like, great, what city? And then you picked from 12 cities. And then we went through it. We were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then we started to have friends use it. And they're like, David, I went through 30 clicks and I still have to answer 10 more questions. But you're like, I'm never going to use this. And we were like, shit. So we shelved it. And then 5 years ago, another version. 3 years ago, another version. Until about a year and a half ago, my buddy Ari, who's the CEO of a big company, a speaker company, his name's Ari Supran. And he's a foodie, and we go to all these cities together to follow this band Fish, and all we do is spend hours and hours and hours and hours trying to figure out where to eat and drink, and you can't believe if our bosses at work saw how much time we spent on trying to figure out where to eat and drink while we're on vacation, they would not be happy, and so he had been starting to talk about AI as a CEO for this big company. And then he started deploying AI frameworks and solutions throughout his company to make his, every division of his company, this global company he runs, even better. And so he started sharing with me that we could finally do this. And this company probably wouldn't exist without him, without his, Sherpa-ing me through navigating how to use these tools to accomplish this. And what we ended up building was this medallion architecture. So we built hundreds of agents to go out and build this 3-tier system. This first tier, the bronze level, going out and finding all this information. Eater writes an article, we own that article. Someone talks about this breakfast burrito on TikTok, we have ingested it. New York Times, Michelin Guide, all these people are writing this information that's public information available to everyone. And then, so we got to go out and get all of that. Then we built this like archival layer, the silver layer of agents that enrich the data and build like these 1536 vector embeddings of this library, this data warehouse of all this information stored in our own database. So we're not going out and using ChatGPT or Perplexity and their top-down search to find me the best Chinese food in New York, right? But to look through a small language model at our internal database. So then the third layer, the gold layer of us building our own agencies that would dedupe and reassemble all this data we have into these best of lists. So now we have our own data that has created our own validation engine to find out like what you're not going to find out on your own. We realize that consumers aren't smart enough in general to get the answers they want. They're going to, the most common question through ChatGPT for food is going to be, what's the best Italian or the best Chinese food, right? That's what people are searching for most. But when they say, what's the best Chinese food in New York or the best Italian in Chicago, they're not saying what's the best Chengdu or the best Szechuan or the best Hong Kong or the best Xiaolongbao or the best, I'm looking for the 5.5 star place that has the best dim sum because their dim sum's the best, but their 3.5 stars are because the place is a little bit dirty or service wasn't great. Like, what version of foodie are you? Do you care more about the service or the food? Is this date night or is this, dim sum with the boys, or is it a business meal? All these little data points add up to what is the right answer. Even when someone's searching for Italian, are they looking for coastal Italian and they're looking for seafood, or are they looking for grandma red sauce Italian? They're looking for meatballs and chicken parm. These are very different queries that people aren't smart enough to ask. So we built the smartest way I've heard it described is someone else has called it the Spotify of where to eat and drink, right? We have nothing to do with Spotify, but it makes total sense that it makes it very easy to find what you're looking for. And the more you use it, the smarter it gets, the more it understands you, until you literally have a foodie in your pocket that can understand everything about you and every version of you. Date night you, family vacation you. Your kid has a peanut allergy. It's not sending you to this Thai restaurant for family vacation that it's going to send you to on date night because your wife loves pad Thai and loves to eat at the bar, and this place has a late night happy hour. Like all those type of things it learns about you to literally in just one click help you find the best places to eat and drink in any city in the world on any day of the week, any time of day, because it understands all these things. That was a very long-winded answer. I apologize in advance.
I wanted to sit here and try to punch holes in that, but that was so long. That was a very well-rounded explanation of what you. What your program does. Now I have to sit here and think about it.
You're catching me in the thick of it as I'm building it, so I'm all fired up about what we're doing. I should have taken a Xanax before I got into this call.
No, man, this is yeah,
I
no,
love the
this
thought
is
that you're using small language models for this, right? So I love that. I love that. Absolutely.
No, I mean it's a very real thing. It's unbelievable that it exists for every other industry except this industry, where people are so emotional about the act of eating, and it's just like we can't believe it doesn't exist.
Go ahead, Val, so we don't talk over each other.
yeah, no, I was just all I was thinking was like, wow, this is like you're tugging at a foodie's heartstrings here, and you're
For sure.
checking, all
We are
the
foodies
boxes
first.
of like, yeah, and so the thing that jumps to mind is how are you going to incorporate a feedback loop for foodies on what's actually good? Because good is so subjective.
Well, we
how
haven't
do you categorize
we haven't
what's
accomplished that.
good?
Well, that's a great question. We've decided as a company, as a platform, to be very opinionated. So we spent more time on our validation engine than anything. Like, if the place has 5,000 reviews on Google Maps and it's 4.7 stars, first of all, what the hell does 4.7 stars even mean? or 9.2 stars on One Bite app, or 8.2 stars on Belly app, or 4.6 on Yelp. It literally means nothing. It has zero definition. So like we have no ratings. 4.7 stars literally has no definition. It means one thing for one person and 999 different things for 999 different people. It's so annoying to us. It's an ordinal number of it only means something for how many are above it and how many are below it. Independently on its own, it means nothing. So we have no ratings. You're either in the platform or you're not, and you can't buy your way into the platform, right? It is. We're not pay for play. We're not going to let people, hijack ratings for extortion like some other companies. So we have built a weighted system of we know what your rating is on this site and on this site and on this site. We know what the last 200 reviews said. We know what the words, even Google does not take the own words of about in reviews. The semantic or canonical information it has about a platform in its own ratings. Like there could be a restaurant that has, in the last 200 reviews, 60% of them mention date night in a positive manner. That is a data point that should be addressed that even Google isn't using, right? And that, along with OpenTable, mentions its lighting and its service, and this other platform mentions all these things. We have all these data points from 100 different sources, where the AI is smart enough to make decisions based on all of it across the board. So every time, imagine an equalizer from when we were kids. Like move the bass up, move the treble down, and move the mids up, and move all these things down until this sounded great for Zeppelin, but it sounded terrible for the Doors. And then it sounded great for Pink Floyd, but terrible for the Beatles. That you couldn't find an equalizer that worked for all the different types of music. So then you had digital music come along, and it said for this type of band, this is going to be the equalizer. And for this type of band, now imagine applying that to food. We are doing the same sort of like breaking down a venue to the atomic level and then looking at all the data points according to it. Like if I'm reading an article on Eater right now, Eater has no idea who I am, right? It doesn't know if I'm an 80-year-old man in Tokyo reading an article at noon on a Tuesday, or if I'm a mother of 4 in Chappaqua reading it at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. So like the data in the article is all the same for everybody. You come into Stupid Good and you look at the show me the best of lists for Brooklyn. It knows if it's 2 p.m. on Tuesday and the top left thumbnail should be a Taco Tuesday list. And if you clicked on the Taco Tuesday list, maybe the next list should be the 25 best tequila cocktails in the city. Or if you're looking at it on a Saturday at midnight, the first list you should see is a late night eats list. It's smarter than this article. You can do more with it. In Spotify, you can save a song to a new playlist, and then you can create a radio station off that playlist, and then the new playlist it suggests to you next Monday is based off of the things you saved. We're doing the same things. We know if you're saving, I'm going to New York, and you're saving seafood lists and pizza lists, that it knows it should suggest this little local dive bar in Staten Island, which no one going to New York on vacation is going out to Staten Island for a bite to eat. But then you read why it suggests it to you. And there's this one dive bar doing a tavern-style pizza in this bar that's been there for 70 years. That's a white clam pizza. And you are a foodie that's saving seafood lists and pizza lists, that it should tell you about that. It still might not be enough information to get you to Staten Island, but when you read why it's shared it with you, you start realizing this system really understands you. And so to go all the way back to the original part of your question, we've built a very opinionated system and we're going to stand by it. But also, we have built this as an open source project, that the more people use it, the only way this thing becomes a monster is if everyone uses it, which is why we're making it free for everyone, right? It's not this classic, let's dangle features in front of them and move them to a paid user. We really delivered almost all the paid features to the free level because the goal is to build a community, to give this to all the foodies, because the more people search and the more people save and the more people use it, the smarter the AI is going to get. And the smarter the AI gets, the more we all win. And that's really the initial goal. And that's the part we haven't accomplished yet. You asked me, how am I going to get all this information in from all these people? Really, our success will depend on how well we build the community and how well we get this out there. The more people use it, the smarter we'll get. The smarter it gets, the more we all win. And then the problem will solve itself.
Are you worried about things like inference costs, especially rolling this free out to the masses?
So, we have raised some money. I've been fortunate enough to have a few exits in the last 10 years. So there were some very smart investors who had capital to say this deserves a chance to survive. They all agree that we need to build a community. That yes, the product has to work. Yes, we have to be able to build lists that are the best of in each city. But beyond that, we do have to build a community. And if we do that, then we're building a monster. So they have given us enough money to take on this risk of time and effort and cost to build it. But the next stage will depend on, are we good enough? Most of the things we've built over the last 17 years have been B2B products, right? So solutions that work, widgets on a site, things in the background. We haven't really built a consumer-facing platform. So we have a hard road in front of us to break through the noise, get this message out, and to help people understand why we're doing this, to get them involved. But now there is a concierge layer, right? So you have the best of lists and all the features that we thought we were going to charge for in the beginning, create your own lists, one-click itineraries, building multiple personas so you can have multiple versions of you, the date night you, the family vacation you, the business meal you. When we first started, all these were paid features until we realized this really needed the user base. So we said, fine, all these things are free. So really, you have all of this for free. But if you go into the point where you're like, I want to text with my concierge, I want to have a personal relationship with my concierge. I want to name him. He's mine. She's mine. Whatever it is, they're mine. And I want to be able to text with it. I don't always have to open the app or go to the website. I want to be able last minute to say, hey, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm with my two buddies, John and Jimmy, and we're looking for lunch. That it knows everything about what I like for lunch. It knows who John and Jimmy is. And it can say, based on that, these guys love small plates and they love natural wine and they like sitting on patios and they don't like fine dining, but they like more than good bar food. You should go to the Four Horsemen, or you should go to Shalom Japan, or you should go here. And it knows enough about you that in one click gives you answers and explains why you should go to those places. Right. And so our paid tier is $10 a month. It's $120 a year, but we also give you $120 a year in credits. So even the paid version is just intention, and then if you are going to go to like a $45 burger and Beaujolais pop-up, or you're going to go to a $70 cheeks and collars dinner collaboration from these three chefs, or you want this $25 trucker hat, that it all gets pulled from your $120 prepaid credits that you did for the year. So even the paid tier is free. So even when we're charging you, we're trying to make it free. Funny thing, if the cheeks and collars list hit you for any reason, the AI made the list. That we have all these lists of these Italian spots, these Chinese spots, these Japanese spots. You can search by dish, cuisine, or occasion. But the AI on its own said, hey, David, there's these 217 restaurants where 40% of the comments or the social media posts about these places are talking about this beef cheek ravioli or this pork cheek anglinati or this hamachi kama or this salmon collar, that so many people are talking about these things that you should have a cheeks and collars list. And then it made the list on its own and put it into the platform. So this is the difference of an eater having 100 writers on their platform where they have to pay for their payroll. And then they have to go out and eat at all these places. And then they have to figure out what is okay to write about and not, compared to an AI system that's going to see 1,000 times amount of data points they're going to see trends like Shazam sees trends on what kind of music is coming up, and create these things faster than we'll ever create. And then if consumers start clicking on the cheeks and collars list and sharing it or saving it to their own lists and sharing it with other friends, and people then share that more than other, it's AI deciding that it's relevant more so than me. And this is where the open source part comes from, that the AI can find the trends faster than we can. It can create the lists faster than we can, and it can understand feedback on a recursive loop from the consumer faster than we can. And this is where we win.
It's not light work aggregating all that data, that's for sure.
Well, it was hard work building the agents to do it. It's really light work for the agents. So this is why we're building it now and why we try to build it 3 times over the last 7 years and passed on it every time.
Are you considering what's your view on leveraging open source models to actually do the internal work? Is that something that is a concern of yours,
Yeah,
especially with the model costs increasing seemingly every couple months? What's your view on that as you're trying to scale quickly,
yeah, I
or
think,
your approach?
yeah, it's great. I mean, these are home run questions. Um, it was tougher earlier on because earlier on we're like, oh man, we got to try DeepSeek. Oh man, we got to try Fable 5. Oh man, we got to try this. And it's like, hey, like, stop getting distracted by every shiny new bell and whistle. Getting the data is getting the data. Archiving the data, enriching the data, cataloging the data, and building your own like Dewey Decimal System of where all the data is and all the vector embeddings of it is another problem we solved. And then deduping it, resembling it, like once we accomplish that, now it's going out every day and every week and getting the delta, what new has been said everywhere, and adding it, down to the point of, was this restaurant a 4.6 stars on Yelp last month and 4.7 stars on Google Map last month? And this month it's gone up 1 point in each. And they were also getting 4 reviews a week, and now they're getting 12 reviews a week. And in those reviews, they're saying this, plus they have X amount more mentions on TikTok and Instagram. That shows a trend up. We get to see those trends before anyone else. We should know about Jeffrey's Grocery coming online for oyster happy hours and cheeseburger before anyone else did 3 years ago, right? Like we should be able to see this data sooner. And so we're constantly testing the new models. And now that we have baseline models to test it against, we can see how much better that data is, or if it's not, if it's worth the money, if it's not worth the money. Is the juice worth the squeeze, basically, constantly looking at it. But I think we've passed, a launch point that we have enough data now that those new models don't affect us going out and getting the delta. It's more about getting the delta and being, we're more at the point of hiring data scientists. We don't have a full-time data scientist on our team. We're still a pretty small startup team. But we are hiring data scientists to take looks at our data to see if they see things in a different way than we see it, and different ways of understanding consumer search intelligence earlier on to see trends earlier on. Like you could find a 4.7 restaurant on Google Maps that's 4.7 stars because of X, Y, and Z. These are its reviews and what people say about it 7 days a week. But here's another 4.7 restaurant on Google Maps or Yelp or TripAdvisor or anything that is 5.0 star restaurant on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, and a 4.2 restaurant on Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. And our data understands that it has an A team cooking in there on the weekend and a B team cooking there on during the week. That the cook and the front of house and back of house team in there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday isn't as good as the team that's in there on the weekend. Like, so how can someone love the place on a Saturday and hate it so much on a Tuesday? Who's lying? But no one's lying. And so the average retail consumer looking at, should I go to this place or not, isn't seeing those insights. We see it. We can tell you, and so that might be also a place that changed out the weekend team or the weekday team. And that's why the trend is picking up more during the week. We're seeing that earlier on than a writer or someone who lives on that block's ever going to see it. And so, again, it goes back to, Ari said this to me very early on. He said, David, at any point that you think you're smarter than the AI, you're making a mistake. At any point, even though everyone I know in the world calls me and says, David, I'm going to Barcelona, I'm going to Lisbon, I'm going to Paris, I'm going to Tennessee, I'm going to Boston, I'm going to Austin. Everyone asks me for my Google Maps list. I've been giving my Google Maps list to people for, who knows how many years, definitely more than 5. And they use it everywhere they go. But also, every week I don't update that list. It's out of date, right? Eater writes an article about the top 10 burgers in New York. It's out of date 2 weeks later. One place shouldn't be on there 2 weeks later, and 3 new places should be on there. And maybe you love Vietnamese food more than you love American. So no one should be on that list instead of 7th Street Smash Burger, right? Because you're a little bit different than everyone else. The open source stuff we're always taking a look at. A lot of it's really good. We think it's going to constantly get better. We'll also have developers, not just in the United States. We have developers in Ukraine. We have developers in Thailand. So we have access to models that aren't even available in the United States. So we're looking at this at a global level, and we hope it continues to be a race to zero. The more that these guys fight, you see all the news about OpenAI and Meta's already bailing out, and all this stuff. We're not fighting the fight at the LLM level. We're fighting the fight at a consumer experience level. And we think that, the Yelps and the Infatuations and the Eaters and the New York Times have no chance. Legacy solutions have no chance to compete with this. So now our competitive set are the LLMs. Can you deliver a better answer than Perplexity and ChatGPT? And they're trying to get you answers in less than 4,000 tokens, right? They're trying to lose as little money on you as possible to answer your question. And you're asking these shitty questions. What's the best Chinese food in New York? And then you have to ask 7 more follow-up questions. And OpenAI is like, God damn it, how do I get this guy to answer a better question? We think they eventually have to come to us and say, hey, people are asking us these questions. You answer the question for us because you'll save us 3,000 tokens per question, and we'll just pay you instead of losing 12,000 tokens on answering the question ourselves. We think they'll become one of our biggest clients.
And there's the value prop, right?
Yeah, it's just, we're doing a bottom up search into our own database with 0 latency and 0 LLM costs. So we think we can deliver you a better solution that better understands you, which version of you is asking the question, better and faster than anybody else from the legacy side or the AI side. And we think as open source fights for their position in all of this more and more, especially if NVIDIA is going to go after the full stack solution, then we think we win at the end just because it's more data we have access to.
This definitely sounds like GraphRag. underneath the hood. Now, I don't want to pry, but definitely sounds like GraphRag. You have a relational graph across the vectorized database, relational graph across to make sure it's a tie-in, all this data in the aggregate, right?
A
To make
hundred
sure
percent.
it's all just reading
Yeah,
across. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like we had like we're constantly QAing, and my CTO can answer that question more detailed than I can. But yes, you are ballpark. Like we thought we found a bug in the system. How did this steakhouse get onto the best sushi list in Denver? Well, Denver doesn't have a ton of sushi spots, right? Compared to a New York or a Chicago or an LA. But this one steak spot has a sashimi bar and a crudo bar inside the steakhouse, like a whole crudo menu, just like a Negroni menu at some Italian restaurants where you pick the gin, you pick the amaro, and you pick the vermouth, from a set of three or three to make a 18 different Negronis. This crudo bar had enough people write about it and talk about it and mention it that it made it onto the sushi list. We thought it was a bug. We're like, oh shit, something's wrong somewhere that this steakhouse, this American restaurant, made it onto the sushi list. And then we read about why it made it on, that the AI wrote, and we're like, oh, that makes sense. So there is a taste graph that is being built internally that is pretty smart right now, or really smart right now. But we put 1 million users on it, and it sees 1 million different data points of 1 million people thinking a different way. It's going to get smarter. And the smarter it gets, the more we all win. It's just a better system. It's a better mousetrap.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Where are you planning on launching? What cities are you planning on launching?
Good question. So we were going to launch every city in the world, in every language, because AI lets us. And then Ari and a few of our investors, very smart people, were like, David, community. You're building a great product. You're never going to build a global community out of the gate. So we're launching in 17 cities in the US. 17 cities, a lot of it are one of the biggest cities. But a few of the smaller cities made it on because this city has a Time Out magazine and a Yelp and a TripAdvisor and an Eater and an Infatuation. Like the data shows there are more foodies in that city than other cities, right? So we picked the 17 cities based on size and activity, reservations, articles, people writing about food, to decide what those 17 cities are. And we're going to focus on building communities in those cities. Then we're also introducing some gamification. When you register to be on the platform and you enter your zip code, are you in Cleveland, Ohio, or Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is one of the most crazy up and coming foodie cities in the country. And if you like the AI showing us what chefs are moving there and what restaurants are moving there, you'd be like, you got to be kidding me. As cities register, the next city will have a leaderboard. The next city to have 10,000 registered users is the next city we take live. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with it, right? We're not curing cancer. So we also want to have a lot of fun with this. We want the community to have fun with it. So we'll launch with the first 17 cities. And if the next city that gets 10,000 registered users for free, right? Put your email and your zip code. If that's London or Kyoto or, I don't know, San Diego, whatever the next city is, that will be the next city. We're also going to build out a Discord channel. So there'll be a way for us to communicate with all the foodies. And we think that Discord channel will also scale into sub-channels. The burger channel, the pizza channel, the tapas channel, the Negroni channel, the gin and tonic channel. Because there are foodies who are crazy about those things. So all those kind of sub-channels, and we want to keep building the community. We also want to help local businesses grow. So if there's a local burger spot doing a collab with a winemaker during the Crush and there's a burger and Beaujolais pop-up, what you hear every year is this place wanted to sell 300 tickets to this pop-up and they sold 50. Well, we're going to have a list of 11,000 people searching for burgers in that city and 12,000 people searching for wine in that city. We can help that venue sell more burger and Beaujolais tickets, right? And we're not charging that restaurant to put that link up. It's also part of the community. Put that link up on your feed. You can claim your venue. And when you claim your venue, you can add more information to it, and you can add more pictures to it rather than the pictures we have. And you can add links to your pop-ups in it that will then show up to burger lovers and Beaujolais lovers because it's relevant to them. That we will share information that's contextually relevant about your business to people that aren't ads. But it's just like when Spotify said, David, you're listening to a lot of talking heads. You should check out this band, Total Giovanni from New Zealand. And I'm like, all right, I'll check out this band with this wildly weird name. And then it became my favorite band for the next 2 years. And then every one of my friends in town were like, holy shit, where did you find out about this band? And it's, Spotify that helped me find it. We want to do the same thing in the food and restaurant space. And that's what we plan on doing. And it's something that we can't do on our own. We can build the guardrails and the framework and the ecosystem that will facilitate it. It will take all of us foodies together using it to make it happen.
Yeah, I love the Discord angle because that could also be another data point for the platform as well.
Yeah. What are people talking about? What are people on? Yeah, our analytics. We're going to publish our analytics too. What are people searching for on Mondays and on Thursdays and AMs and PMs and lists? So we're going to have this this open graph analytics page of what people care about and stuff, which is going to be really. Imagine if you own a restaurant and you found out that 17,000 people are searching for happy hour in your neighborhood, and there's only 2 restaurants in your neighborhood with a happy hour. It's like, maybe you should start a happy hour. It's not about discounting your brand, but it's understanding what's relevant to your neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be thousands of data points like this. What happens if a Marriott is trying to figure out if it's going to add a new menu item to 700 of its airport hotels, but it doesn't know if it should be a burger or a pizza or a taco or a fried chicken. At this point, we're becoming a CDP that we have the data of what that dish should be, what your restaurant should be, what is, should you open for lunch? Should you do a late night pop-up? Are you a deli and there's data here that says you could do a midnight brunch pop-up once a month that would sell 500 tickets. That's fun. That's money. That's relevant. So we don't know what it's going to be yet. We are, it's kind of like the hair club for men. I'm not just the president of the hair club for men. I'm a member too. It is I'm not just the CEO of Stupid Good AI. I am a foodie also. I'm as excited for what this can be as anybody else could be.
Yeah. And if people want to navigate to the site, it's stupidgood.ai.
That's correct? It, stupidgood.ai. It's also all the social media handles. We are at stupidgood.ai on TikTok, on Instagram, on all the things. But if you go to stupidgood.ai right now, you could register. If you DM us on Instagram or TikTok or something and say they heard about us on your show, we will move them top of the food chain for early access. But we're here. We're working on it from sun up to sundown. Then we go get a bite of food ourselves, and we're listening. We're excited to get this live, and we're excited to bring this to the world and be a part of it ourselves.
Well, if you launch in New York, or when you launch in New York, let us know. We'll actually, you know what? Maybe we'll do a review. Yeah, we'll sign up, we'll use it, and we'll do an AI review on the app.
How about this? New York is definitely one of the first 17 cities, right? And we are also, I'll be in New York the last week of July. I'm coming in for a few concerts. And I will definitely be eating and drinking. I will definitely also be on the street talking to people. I've committed to putting myself in front of the camera. I've been behind the scenes for decades building B2B solutions. part of my commitment to building this platform was coming out in front of the camera and being part of the story a little bit more. So we're going to do some sort of street activation where we're going to be like in neighborhoods asking people what is the best of what that is in that neighborhood. Because who knows that neighborhood more than someone who lives on 4th Street or 68th and 2nd or that neighborhood. And whatever they tell us about, we're going to take them out to go get that in that neighborhood and tape it. Just something super authentic and super organic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll be there. So we should all grab a bite and eat together somewhere.
Yeah, you got
Sounds
the
good.
contact information. You let me know. We'll go hit Momo-san on Lex. We could go do some good ramen.
Great. Love it. We'll have to do that after the show, not before the show, so I don't fall asleep in the show.
Yeah, right. Look, David, you've been an awesome guest. You've obviously explained this extremely thoroughly. You've been very forefront in answering our questions. We thank you for coming on today and telling us about stupid good AI. I think AI for food is an awesome angle. This is not something that people would generally expect to see AI in, right? A lot of people expect administrative work, enterprise, research, science, and here we are applying this to food, right? And how can this help people actually?
Yeah, we're solving real problems.
Hey,
One burger at a time.
When you want a good sandwich and you're in a strange city and you have something like this that you can just be like, oh shit, this is one of the highest rated burger places in the country.
Yeah,
I'm going there.
Yeah, what's worse than a pretty good turkey sandwich? Like, what a nightmare. What a wasted up. I only have 2 more meals left in this city and I had a mediocre turkey sandwich. What a shame. Yeah.
Again, thank you so much, David, for coming today. Shout out to everybody else who's watched the show today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. We are going to be having another guest next week as well. You guys have a great one. We'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Take care.